All right, guys, Sanch here. Welcome back to another episode on the Bodybuilding News Network, specifically episode 12 of the Bodybuilding Today series. We're going to be talking about my picks for the 1 through 8 in the 212 at this year's 2021 Wings of Strength Chicago Pro. So let's go ahead and get right into it. In the 1 through 4 spot, in no particular order, within reason, we have Keon Pearson, John Jewett, Jason Lowe, and Jason Hebert. This is what I think the top 4 is going to look like. Let's go ahead and look at these 4 physiques from these 4 different comparisons that I put together for us, and let's see what we think about these top 4 potentially. So when we look at this front double bicep from the upper part, we want to look at the chest development, biceps and triceps. We want to look at the midsection, and we want to look at the ab development. Also, we want to look at the lats to see how much they pop out, how much they protrude. I think looking at this, in my opinion, first off, the only person not holding a vacuum for this shot, which I think actually looks better, is Jason Hebert. I like the way he's not holding a vacuum for this specific shot. I think it looks better on him than the vacuum shots he had, so that's why I left it like that. But when we look at the chest, the biceps, the lats, the development of those lats, and then the midsection, if it's controlled or not, all 4 of these competitors have great arms, great chest, great midsections, and debatably fantastic lat development. I feel that Keon Pearson is pulling away a little bit with just that overall wow factor, along with the size, and John Jewett coming in with a respectable and somewhat close second here when we're looking at the front double from the upper. When we look at this 3rd and 4th, I feel like this can go either way. Jason Lowe or Jason Hebert, I feel like they're very comparable. They both have great arms and great chest. The midsection, debatably, Jason Hebert looks like he has a little bit better developed midsection. Let's see how it compares when we move into the lower body. Looking at the lower body, it still would seem that the narrative is the same for Keon Pearson having that first place position when we're looking at the lower body, and John Jewett coming in with a controlling second as well. The legs look very comparable, except it's just held a little differently. Keon Pearson has more, the way he's standing, it's more of a sweep, and it really emphasizes those calves. Honestly, you can really see those calves. And then we look at John Jewett, still very massive legs, great conditioning going all the way into the posing trunks. A little bit more flatter in the calf department, but I don't think there's anyone in this lineup that's going to be able to beat him for that 2nd place spot. Jason Lowe versus Justin Herbert. Jason Lowe versus Justin Hebert, very comparable here. They both are holding it in a little bit different of a way, so it will be interesting to see how they compare if they do potentially get side by side. My eyes honestly go to Justin Hebert for this leg shot. Although I'm a massive Jason Lowe fan, if it came down to it with the exact same conditioning, I think Justin Hebert might beat out Jason Lowe if it comes down to a 3rd and 4th place shot. So you could actually switch these around so far in the comparison rounds. And when we look at the back double from the upper part, again, the narrative really speaks for Keon Pearson walking away with this 1st place win, or at least the 1st place positioning so far. And then John Jewett, a very controlling and resounding 2nd place as well. The development, the thickness in the muscle, just the pure girth of the lats spells a very strong 2nd place. It's really going to come down to conditioning for that 1st and 2nd spot, but it looks like Keon Pearson has it very well controlled so far. Jason Lowe versus Justin Herbert for the 3rd and 4th in my predictions when we're looking at this upper of the back double. They both have really good back development, but it seems that Jason Lowe is going to be squeaking out just a little bit, just based off of the coloring, the tan, the bronzer, and then also just the way the muscle pops, it would seem that he has a little bit more muscle in the mid to lower back than Justin Hebert, but it definitely would be very close if this is how it ended up for that 3-4 and 1 and 2. And lastly, for the lower body in that leg department from the back, this is kind of where I feel like John Jewett is going to be pulling ahead a little bit. Keon Pearson was very soft last year at the Chicago, and it really showed in that lower body and in the glutes. So if Keon Pearson slips, this definitely could be a shot where John Jewett can win some big points in the glutes, hamstrings, and even in the calves. Although it looks like Keon does have better developed calves, if they're not conditioned, you won't be able to see them. If you can't see it, you can't judge it. Also, same when we're looking at that 3-4, Jason Lowe potentially versus Justin Hebert. The hamstrings, I feel, speak volumes about the conditioning here. Or maybe it's more of a muscular development, because if you look at the glutes, Justin Hebert looks very conditioned. There's lots of striations there, but Jason Lowe definitely looks like his glutes are more conditioned. The hamstrings look more conditioned. Justin might actually win out on the calves, but Jason, I think overall from that lower body, from the back at least, is going to be winning it out. So I want to hear in the comment sections from you guys and gals, how do you feel about the 1 through 4? Do you feel like a Keon Pearson versus a John Jewett sounds like something that probably is going to happen? Do you feel like a Jason Lowe versus a Justin Hebert? Do you feel like that's going to be a solid 3-4 battle? Let me know in the comment sections below. When we're looking at my picks for the 5 through 8, in no order here, I feel like all of these competitors are very comparable, and they could definitely jump around in this 5 through 8, or even push up into the 3rd, maybe 4th position if the situation is right. We have Oswaldo Gonzalez, Ahmed El Sandeh, Esteban Bravo, or he also goes by Esteban Faquin. That's a rough name. And then we have Kevin Johnson in the bottom right. In no particular order, this is what I think the 5 through 8 is going to look like in the 212 for this year's 2021 Chicago Pro. Let's go ahead and look at this front double. Let's look at the biceps. Let's look at the chest and the lats. And then lastly, let's look at the midsection. Now, in the bicep department, respectfully, I feel like Esteban Bravo and Ahmed are pulling away with that bicep and tricep development, whereas Oswaldo and Kevin Johnson are slightly slacking in the arm development when we look at this comparison. No disrespect, obviously. Moving into that chest development, kind of the same narrative. I feel like Kevin Johnson steps up a little bit in that chest department, where if we're looking at the chest, he would be beating out Oswaldo. But again, I feel like the same narrative is holding true for Esteban to be fighting it out for that 5 and 6 against Ahmed El Sandeh. Moving into the midsection, I really like Ahmed's midsection. It's very tiny, it's very tapered, and then he's holding that vacuum shot. Well, shoot, everyone's holding that vacuum shot, but my eyes go to him first. Maybe it's the high lat insertions, maybe it's the longer torsal dimensions compared to the other competitors. And then also Esteban, again, I feel is pulling away with just a more aesthetic, a more wider look. It looks like his clavicle is just a little bit wider, and he has a little bit more chest development than, say, someone like Oswaldo or even Kevin Johnson. Midsection, we kind of talked about this already. Although I feel like the smallest midsections on this list are probably going to be in the 5 through 8, at least what we're talking about here. And Oswaldo and Ahmed, I feel like the first two, the left and the right, have the tiniest midsections when we're looking at a potential 5 through 8 here. But the measurements or the tininess of a midsection isn't always the best. If it doesn't flow well, it might not benefit the athlete as much as you think it would. what I'm trying to say is I actually prefer Esteban's midsection, although it might potentially be a little bit bigger. It works within his frame. It flows perfectly into those not exactly high inserted lats, but more mid inserted lats. My eyes keep going to his physique. So if we had it, I feel like Esteban would be getting that 5th place spot, followed very closely by Ahmed El Sendai. 7th and 8th could really be a toss-up between Oswaldo Gonzalez and Kevin Johnson. Could Kevin Johnson get another 7th place finish at a Chicago Pro back-to-back? Let me know in the comment sections below, guys. I'd love to hear how you were feeling about the front double bicep here. Moving into the front lower for the potential 5 through 8 picks, I really like how Ahmed and Kevin Johnson's legs really pop, but then in the same conversation, Oswaldo and Esteban's legs look absolutely fantastic as well. Lots of development, lots of cross striations in the feathering of those outer sweeps. I feel like everyone has a little bit here. The teardrops well developed in everyone. I feel like it's a solid draw here. All 4 of these competitors, I think their legs look absolutely fantastic. Cross striations and deep cuts going all the way into the posing trunks. Right here, this is going to come down to conditioning. I feel like they all have appropriately developed mass that could stand side by side by any one of these 5 through 8 competitors. But let me know, guys, what do you guys think? Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think someone has much bigger legs here? Maybe Oswaldo could be stepping away with just a little bit more development in the legs, but it's really, really close. I'd love to hear in the comment sections below. From the back for the back double bicep, again, a very comparable comparison between my potential 5 through 8 picks for the 212 at this year's Chicago Pro. In my opinion, I feel like Ahmed has a little bit more development in the mass as we start to go lower into that back. The tan line looks a little questionable, so hopefully that doesn't happen this year. Just go nude, I guess, or wear a G-string maybe. But the muscle mass in itself, I think, is very stand out. It stands out a lot compared to the other competitors. Maybe a close second with Oswaldo. So I would score this Ahmed for the back double upper, and then a close Oswaldo, somewhat of a wash. Maybe even Kevin Johnson stepping up with a little bit more muscle maturity over Esteban Bravo. But let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the upper for the back double for the 5 through 8. And before we get into my dark horse pick for this show, let's go ahead and look at the lower body from the back for the 5 through 8 potentially. And this one really sets it apart. Esteban Bravo, I feel, is the most conditioned and debatably the most developed in that lower body from the back, whereas Ahmed, although he isn't as conditioned as the other competitors, you can kind of tell that there's a little bit more mass in here. Kevin Johnson just a little bit underdeveloped against these competitors. Hopefully there will be some solid improvements shown as we get closer to this show come tomorrow. Hopefully we get to see a better, more improved package from Kevin Johnson. Oswaldo not slacking here at all. Greatly developed hamstrings and glutes, just a little undersized against the other competitors from the back lower for this 5 through 8 pick. Moving into my pick for the dark horse for this show is going to be Kareth Bajo. He placed very well at his last show, the Niagara Falls top 3 finish in the 212. I feel that if he brings this level of conditioning, he could land anywhere between 3 and 8. It's really hard to compare him against the other competitors, and I just wanted to leave him as my dark horse pick. Moving into that back shots, you can see that there's been improvements. I've already talked about all this in the last video, so I don't want to beat that horse too much, but I feel that Bajo could really do very well at this show. If he brings that conditioning, he could definitely fall in. He could fight for that 3 through all the way to 8th. It just really depends. Like I said, for most of these competitors, it's really going to come down to that conditioning and how sharp he can come in this, especially the back shot. The back shot's going to be a make or break for a lot of these competitors in the 212, specifically at this Chicago Pro. But I want to hear from you guys. I really want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts about the 212 lineup? How do you feel about my projected 1 through 4 and my projected 5 through 8? Spot on, way off? Am I overlooking someone? Let me know in the comment sections below. And if you have any comments, questions, praises, critiques, recommendations, leave all that stuff in the comment sections below. I would love to see that so that we can make this show the best that it can be. And lastly, we will be doing an inaugural Monday Muscle episode here Thursday, so stay tuned for that. I'll post it very late tonight, but we will be posting it today so that we can cover the Chicago Pro, and then moving forward, it will be Monday Muscle will be in the evenings of every Monday moving forward. Myself and probably for most of the episodes, NPC Super Heavyweight Ty Jordan. So ensure you are looking out for that video. I'm very excited to get that one on the road. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching another installment on the Bodybuilding News Network, specifically episode 11, 12 of the Bodybuilding Today series. I'm your host, Sanj. Again, thank you so much for watching and subscribing. The channel has blown up so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.